Hey guys, it's Nikki. Welcome back to another song review. Today we're going to be listening to Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. And I was going to say that this is my first time listening to the Beatles on this channel, but I did listen to Revolution 9 during Rocktober, which was terrifying. I know some people love it, but it was a little scary to me. I think this song is going to be a different style. Um, I did hear a tiny bit of this. My husband, he's a fan of the Beatles, and he discovered that there's like, I don't know what it's called exactly, but we've been calling it Beatles TV, and it just kind of plays a ton of Beatles stuff all the time on YouTube. And he had this on the other day, and I was just kind of in and out doing stuff in the room he was in. And then later I texted him and I was like, "Hey, what was that song that I said sounds interesting?" Because I heard violins and I was like, I kind of like that, but it also sounds sad at the same time. So I don't know what I'm going to think of this, but I wanted to dive into it more with you guys. I'm still going to call it a reaction because I just can hear the violins and that's pretty much all I know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy me diving into the Beatles a little bit more. I don't know much by them. I'll look into what I do know afterwards, but I think I might want to do a deeper dive into this band, but we will see. We'll start with this song. Let's pop our headphones on, turn it up, and here we go.
Ah, look at all the lonely people. Ah, look at all the lonely people. Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice in the church where a wedding has been. Lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it for? All the lonely people.
Actually, I thought it said all the lovely people.
All the lonely people. Where do they all belong?
It's lonely people.
Father Mackenzie, writing the words of a sermon that no one will hear. No one comes near. Look at him working, darning his socks in the night when there's nobody there. What does he care? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? Ah, look at all the
I love the strings though. I love that sound.
Ah, look at all the lonely people. Eleanor Rigby died in the church and was buried along with her name. Nobody came. Father Mackenzie wiping the dirt from his hands as he walks from the grave. No one was saved. All the lonely people.
This is
Do they all come from?
really sad, actually.
All the lonely people. Where do they all belong?
And it's short. That was really short. I hope this wasn't an edited down version. It said official video, but I looked and it seemed like the audio itself was 2 minutes too. This was actually 6 seconds longer. But what a bummer of a song. I like the violin. Like I said, I love that sound. That's what drew me into this song. There's a cat hiding in a pillow. But I didn't realize it was as sad of a song. But now my question is, who is Eleanor Rigby? Is it based off of a real person or is this all fictional? I will scooch over and see what I can find. So this is from genius.com. It says Eleanor Rigby is a song about loneliness and depression, representing a departure from the early pop love songs. Yes, because when I think of the Beatles, knowing what I do know by them, they were always happier, kind of fun songs. So this was definitely a major turn from that. But it says this is an early example of the Beatles taking risks and dabbling in other genres. In this particular example, it's a Baroque pop, as made evident by the string arrangements. Okay, I didn't know that that's what that was considered, but I like I said, I love the strings. During the Beatles' experimental phase, the producer George Martin experimented with studio techniques to satiate the Beatles' artistic desires. To achieve the aggressive, punchy sound of the strings, Martin had the microphone set up really close to the instruments, much to the chagrin of the session players who were not used to such a unique setup. That's interesting. This is the only Beatles song where none of the Beatles play an instrument. They only sing as a string ensemble plays on. There was also some debate between John Lennon and Paul McCartney as to who wrote most of the song, but the song tends to follow more of Paul's storytelling style. I was asking my husband the other day, I said, well, who was like, I grew up listening to boy bands, okay? So I was like, who was the Justin Timberlake? Like, who was the Justin of the Beatles? And he said, like, Paul McCartney and John Lennon were kind of the two bigger ones, I guess. Bigger ones. He didn't word it like that exactly, but they had a different style. I think he said he would lean more towards Paul McCartney, I think. I hope if he's watching this, I hope he doesn't get mad at me for saying that. But he said that it was just, they had two different styles. And if you know the Beatles, you could tell who probably wrote which songs. To me, I have no idea. But maybe you know, watching this, if you're a Beatles fan. Okay, this is interesting. It says, eerily enough, the name Eleanor Rigby was found on a gravestone at the St. Peter's Parish Church where John and Paul met as teenagers. In a 2018 interview, Paul McCartney said that he hadn't known of that person or the gravestone when he wrote the song. And there's a picture of it. Well, that's extra crazy if they didn't know about that. It also says that Paul McCartney explained in a November 2020 piece for Rolling Stone that Eleanor Rigby was based on old ladies I knew as a kid. For some reason or another, I got great relationships with a couple of local old ladies. I was thinking the other day, I don't know how I met them. It wasn't like they were family. I just run into them and I do their shopping for them. It just felt good to me. I would sit and talk and they'd have amazing stories. That's what I liked. They would have stories from the wartime because I was born actually in the war. And so these old ladies were participating in the war. Then he also said, I wrote Eleanor Rigby when I was living in London and had a piano in the basement. I used to disappear there. And while I was fiddling on a chord, some words came out. Dazi di dazu picks up the rice in the church where a wedding has been. This idea of someone picking up rice after a wedding took it in that poignant direction into a lonely people direction. I had a bit of trouble with the name, and I'm always keen to get a name that sounds right. We were working with Eleanor Braun on the film Help, and I liked the name Eleanor. It was the first time I'd ever been involved with that name. I saw Rigby on a shop in Bristol when I was walking around the city one evening, so it became Eleanor Rigby. I swear I made up the name Eleanor Rigby like that, but it seems that up in Woolton Cemetery, where I used to hang out a lot with John, there's a gravestone to an Eleanor Rigby. It was either complete coincidence or in my subconscious. Yeah, that is pretty crazy, but I mean, for it being a bit of a depressing song, I want to say, I still like the sound of it a lot, and it's just very simple and just kind of, I mean, it's just about lonely people that, you know, things happen to them, life goes on, they're just kind of in the background of life, and nobody really knows that they exist, and that's very sad and very it really is a downer of a song. I'm sorry to say it, but it's also a good song at the same time. But before I end this, I'm just gonna see what Beatles songs there are that I might know. Like, I'm gonna look up top Beatles songs and see what I'm familiar with. Oh my gosh, there's a list of 100 greatest Beatles songs. Um, let's see. I don't want to go through a whole 100-song list. Let's go to the top 10. This is from jamzone.com. Hey Jude. All I can picture in my head is, Hey Jude. And that's it. That's all I know of that one. A Day in the Life. Do not know. Help. I do know that one. Something. No. Yesterday. No. Come Together. I know that one. That's what I picture the Beatles music being like, just happy and kind of upbeat. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, don't know that one. Strawberry Fields Forever, don't know that one. Penny Love, no. Oh, Penny Lane. Penny Lane. No, I don't know that one. And I Wanna Hold Your Hand. I could picture the chorus of I Wanna Hold Your Hand, just them saying that. Um, so not very much. I feel like I know more than that, at least just in passing, but I mean, you guys know I would be willing to sit down and just listen. Even if I've heard little bits and pieces of things before, I kind of want to hear more because what I hear on the TV with this Beatles TV now on YouTube, I'll link it below. I'll find it and link it below. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. But sometimes my husband has it on at night, and there are some songs that I'm like, that's kind of catchy, or that sounds good. Like I'm interested. From what I hear, I'm asking him like, what one is that? What's that one called? So I feel like there's a lot of songs I can go down the rabbit hole with you guys with if you want me to. I hope you don't hear that. There's a fire alarm going off right now. But I'm at the end of the video anyway, so I will end it here. Let me know what you thought of this one, and let me know if you knew that Eleanor Rigby was a real person, but not the person in this song exactly. Very weird, right? All right. As always, thank you guys so much for watching along with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.